Good morning. Welcome to part 6 of the Zen of Trauma. I have something different for this morning. Let me see where this button is. There it is. At least for me, my traumatic event did was isolate me from the rest of the world, or much of the rest of the world. I didn't fit in. I felt I didn't, my friends couldn't relate to me, or I couldn't relate to them back in the world. It was pretty isolating. What I did was I went into myself with meditation and reading and things like that. But I didn't do so well in the relationship department. Trauma survivors often want relationships, but the whole idea of you can't understand is a problem. We want people to understand us, but we claim they can't understand us because they haven't experienced the trauma. In any event, what I'd like to talk about this morning is the idea that we have to get out of ourselves. Zen, in my order, is engaged. That means we engage in life, we engage in our practice, we engage in moral conduct, in ethics, and politics and philosophy, and of course, household tasks. One way, I think, of creating avenues for opportunities for change is to dive into something we're unfamiliar with. And music, in some sense, is my avenue. It's something very different because I can't play with two hands. I have to play with one. But it's not too bad. It's, as Leonard Cohen says, this thing plays itself. So I just have to turn it on, and I push a button, and I have drums. Okay, now with the drums I can also add something like playing itself, right? So I can play with my one hand while the keyboard does the rest. And so on, you see. Okay, so we have that. But I also have a little drum kit that my wife bought me. And to play this thing, I have to, stop. I have to strap an ankle strap around my hand and slide the drumstick in, and the ankle strap holds the drumstick in my hand. So now with that, I can't do much with my left hand, but I can do things like this. Play a little bit. Where's my bass drum? The bass drum pedal's way over there. I'm not going to worry about it this morning. The important thing is to do. I think that most of us, or many of us anyway, seclude ourselves. We don't venture out much. We don't try things new. And I don't know quite why, and I don't really care. I think what the important thing is that we get over ourselves, so to speak, and jump into the world. That's hard. I understand that. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. What is important is that we do something. And in the Zen world, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, right or wrong, or in any of that kind of stuff in terms of the activity, like is it good to play football or is it bad to play soccer? I don't know, and it doesn't matter. What matters is that we involve ourselves, that we engage, that we do something in the world, hopefully to bring about world peace. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But in a very real way, this practice of playing on these little instruments, as primitive as I am, does bring about peace in the world, because it brings about peace in me. And in my world, I create peace. Not always, as my wife is fond of pointing out, I sometimes have a problem with patience, and I have sometimes a problem with holding my temper. If I do something, I drop an egg in the kitchen, I can explode and have a bit of a reaction. But it's interesting, I think. One of the things that Zen practice does is it puts us in touch with our feelings and our thoughts. And so as a result of that, I'm aware as something arises, I'm aware of it arising. In many cases, I can divert it, as I can step around it, or I can embrace it, or I can argue with it. But the point is, I'm aware of it. And because you're aware of it, you're able to address it, you're able to deal with it somehow. And that depends on the situation, doesn't it? Anyway, I thought this would be a kind of different tack this morning. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you next time for Zen of Trauma number 7. This is number 6. Take care. Be well.